Brothers and sisters, as we know, it is believed that God granted Prophet Muhammad a special trip to the heavens. This trip was miraculous, of course, as there was no technological way the Prophet could have taken such a journey. If you study this miraculous night journey closely, you'll find that there are many clues to prove that this incredible journey did indeed occur. Not only that, where it took place turns out to be of great interest, because astonishingly enough, the description of the area the Prophet ascended matches the characteristics of what we now know about the black hole. So let's look at the black hole to better understand the journey of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Discoveries of science and a comparison with the Quran describes this place in space as very dark. In fact, it describes it as darkness covered or draped in darkness, which is not surprising. Space is a pretty dark place. Even so, some areas are darker than others, but nothing is darker than a black hole. As scientists describe in research, black holes have such immense forces of gravity that nothing, not even light, can escape from them. That's why they're black. Secondly, according to the Quran, when ordinary people look at this dark area in space, they can't see it directly, as their eyes bypass or surpass the boundary of this area, and they only see beyond it or around it. According to science, this area behaves as a lens. Scientists call it a gravitational lens. So, for your better understanding, let's take a closer look. Normally we think of light traveling in straight beams, but near a black hole, the powerful force of gravity bends and warps rays of light around it, creating a visual imprint on the surrounding material. Scientists have proved that a black hole bends light to act like a cosmic magnifying glass, giving astronomers a view of an even more distant galaxy behind it. And, my friends, this is what we call a gravitational lens. However, the Quran brings our attention to an interesting fact regarding this matter. In verse 17 of chapter 53, when it says, "The eyesight of the Prophet Muhammad did not swerve, nor did it pass beyond the boundary," he certainly saw it as one of the greatest signs of his Lord. Could this verse be alluding to the fact that Prophet Muhammad actually visited the black hole and looked at it directly? Thirdly, the Quran describes the black hole area's shape as wide at the top with sloping sides and a narrow tube at the bottom, almost funnel-shaped. In verse 14 of chapter 53, when it says, "By the finite jujube tree, it is likened to the shape of a jujube tree," which fits the same description as the one I just mentioned. A black hole makes such a deep dent in space-time, and that's why it appears to look like a funnel. Despite the black hole's effects on the movement of matter and its tremendous suction power, the black hole's space-time dent remains hidden behind its event horizon, and it's always surrounded by an area that does not allow light to escape, and therefore cannot be directly observed. As fourthly, once again in verse 14, chapter 53, "But a finite doobie tree," the Quran reveals that this area is finite. So how does this claim back up with science? Until recently, it was assumed that black holes had such an infinite strength of gravitational field that occurs deep within them, ensuring that nothing, not even light, can ever escape them. And scientists believe this passage is a one-way passage. If the Prophet used a black hole, then how did he cross this, and how did he come back? All these mysteries are beyond the power of the mind. But some scientists have recently been able to prove and show that energy can escape black holes, and the black holes are finite. This essentially means that black holes don't end in an infinite density, but rather act as a portal to another universe. The acclaimed British physicist Professor Stephen Hawking supports this claim. In conclusion, the Quran swears by the star when it falls that the Prophet Muhammad traveled through space and reached an area, which according to the Quran, is one of God's greatest signs, an area that is much darker than its surroundings. This darkness hides its funnel jujube tree shape underneath, and no one can see this area directly, as his or her eyesight will swerve and pass beyond its boundary. Finally, we're told that this area is finite and a portal to another universe. So it would seem that the Quran and astrophysicists agree on the way in which the Quran describes this mysterious area, matches what we now call the black hole. However, the Quran takes it one step further by asserting that it is, in fact, a portal to heaven, a claim which science has not yet proven. But if past experience is any indication,